Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining us today. Hopefully, we haven't caused too much commotion by being here 12 hours early, but we have we had to adjust our time. So if you're in South Africa or if you are in Europe, this is a good time for you. When you come in, please make sure that you drop a message of where you're coming from and how and really like what's the weather. I really want to ask Brian what the weather is today. So welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That would be me, Gail Straker, and friends. And my friend today is Brian Hayward. Hello, Brian.
Me?
Brian. Brian comes to us today from the Boston, Massachusetts area. He's not in Boston. He lives outside the greater metropolitan area. And I have a feeling that his weather's going to get a little nasty today. Do you know about that, Brian?
Yeah, I can look right out my window now and the snow's coming down heavy. But the nice thing is that they've been predicting 8 to 12 inches, which isn't that bad. Yeah. And now today it's shifted down, so we're only going to get about 4 inches. So it's just a little.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
No big deal.
It's called a nor'easter.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's cold and it's windy and it's wet and it causes issues with some things, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Especially if you don't live around here.
Right. Catherine had to park on the side of the street so that they can use her street as a snow trail or whatever they call it, a snow route. Because the snow's coming in. I know other people are having like no school right now in the New England area because they're planning on having ice storms, which makes it really difficult to get the buses and, it's just keep everybody home, get through this, and the sun will shine again tomorrow. So, wait a minute, the sun will come out tomorrow. Yeah. So today, Brian was gracious enough to fill in for me. We did have to reschedule our show today because we have unforeseen circumstances. With Lipedema Simplified, it's not a bad circumstance. We are having an all-staff meeting tonight. And it happens to be right when my normal show on Tuesday night is. So thank you, Brian, for being gracious enough to get up early in the morning and bear all this with me. So a little introduction for Brian. Brian is a retired chemical engineer who has been studying CBD for the last few years. He came to us in 2021 actually it was December 28th, 2021. And I only remember that because 12 and 21 are backwards, are reverse of each other, and 28. And I thought, wow, the end of the year. I don't know why I remember that so well, but it's one of my
brain. Odd. Kind of odd.
I have a thing with numbers. So anyway, he's been with us all 2022, all 2023, and now with 2024. So we're very grateful that Brian has been with us, and he's helped a lot of women in our community learn about CBD and find a path to lowering their pain, reducing their pain through CBD. So with that said, Brian, that's my introduction of you. Can you tell us how you ended up becoming involved? Is that the right word? Involved with CBD and with Lipedema Simplified. So go ahead and maybe start with how did you become involved with Lipedema Simplified?
Oh, Lipedema Simplified. Catherine and I were in a entrepreneurs group, small business people group, and we were both talking about what we did, and we clicked together because it sounded like inflammation was a real big problem with the lipedema community, and inflammation is a really big problem for people like me with arthritis, it's pretty bad. And so I thought maybe because the CBD is an anti-inflammatory, there's many compounds in the CBD full spectrum product that they do a lot of things for inflammation, and it worked really well for me on my hands. I tried it on my hands with a salve, and it took the pain away. It comes back, but it takes it away. So, it's twice a day or so I put salve on my hands, and that keeps them pretty pain-free. And when Catherine and I got talking, we thought we'd try having some of the ladies use the CBD products that are in the community, and we got really great results. Most people get significantly reduced pain when they use high quality organic CBD full spectrum products. And I got some slides to talk about that in a bit if you want, but to explain all that stuff. But it's important to figure out how to determine what quality product it is, because it won't work if it's not.
Right. And so Brian, we knew that Catherine had used CBD as she was preparing for hip surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got you involved with the community, we have had some pretty amazing testimonies for your product, but
Mm-hmm.
for CBD in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's a high quality, organic. For you, it's locally grown
Mm-hmm.
and produced right there in Massachusetts or
Vermont.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's local to where you are. So it's right here in the United States. It's highly regulated for impurities and tested and all those other things. So, but if we go back a little bit, how did you yourself discover the benefits of CBD?
Well, a friend of my daughter's had heard about my daughter talked about the pain I was having in my hands years ago. And so that woman happened to be a nurse that was a friend of my daughter's, and she suggested that I try CBD because it had worked on her patients. So I tried it, and it was surprising how well the salve worked for me. And then I was taking a tincture afterwards, and I've taken gel capsules, things like that. And if they're a quality product, they work well.
Yeah. And so if I have a pain somewhere on me, and I use a salve, like let's say a joint pain, which I do. I have it in, I don't have arthritis as severe as yours, but I do get here in my right knuckle, my index finger knuckle right here. Sometimes it's just excruciating, like achy. And so if I rub CBD salve on that, how long does it usually take? If it's going to work, how long does it usually take for you to notice a difference?
Within 10 minutes, you should notice a significant reduction in pain. It happens very quickly with the salve. With the tinctures of the capsules, that's a building up in your bloodstream of CBD, and it works to reduce inflammation throughout your body. So.
Okay. So then with like joint pain, and whether it's knee or hip or whatever. Now, but I also know that for some of our community members, they use it, they rub it actually into their thighs and their calves, for relief, and also take the tincture or the gel caps. So let me bring up your slides, because I know that you're going to want to talk about show a few slides to show some differences, some pretty important key points. So let me go ahead and, sorry, I'm babysitting a couple of wild cats. So if you hear things falling and crashing, it's my daughter's cats.
If you have a cell phone, you can take pictures of any of these slides that you want on the screen if you want to be able to remember.
Oh, okay, that's great. That's great. And just to let everybody know, I do have Brian's phone number down at the bottom of this screen. I will also put it in the chat. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and let Brian start sharing his screens. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. This screen doesn't show very well on the...
Right. It's a different format than what it was created for. Yeah.
But this is fine. Okay. So one of the things that people seem to be concerned about often is, if I use CBD, am I going to get high? And the answer is no, people don't get high. But the reason why it's all, that question is there, is the cannabis plant at the top of this thing is the parent plant of both CBD products and marijuana-based products. The difference is that if you breed cannabis to not produce THC, then that 40% THC, that's the high end, of like 25 to 40% of THC in marijuana, you get less than 0.3% THC, and the government regulations now, well, since 2018, have said that it's perfectly legal to produce hemp and to produce the CBD products that come from that, because with 0.3% THC, it's such a small amount that you're not going to get any psychoactive effect. So that's the difference. Marijuana has THC, it's psychoactive, and that's how people get high. CBD is non-psychoactive. So basically, what? Go ahead.
Okay, so then basically, cannabis is the parent plant, but it has diverted, and so now we have a marijuana plant and we have a hemp plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Thanks.
No, I just sometimes it's not that it's not that it comes from the same plant, but it comes from the same parent.
Yeah.
Plant, and it has been bred out of marijuana has been bred to be stronger, and I think any of us who have used pot know that the pot strains that we have sometimes are very, very strong, whereas the hemp, I mean, we use hemp seeds, we use, hemp hearts, we use it in our daily life, we use it in our fabrics, and that's where the CBD comes from, is from the hemp plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for
Okay, so here's the other slide that I wanted to show. Is just the two slides, and if you want to take a picture of this one, this might be really helpful to you too. The section of the slide on the left is the 4 quality checks that I use to determine whether CBD product is probably quality. And the way you do that for me is that the first thing I want to know, it has to say the words full spectrum CBD on the label in that order. And the reason why is you can put full spectrum one place and CBD another place, and it kind of looks like it might be full spectrum CBD, but if they're not together, then it's not likely that it really is full spectrum CBD. And full spectrum CBD is when you produce the hemp plant, the flower on the hemp plant has all of the CBD products in it. And so the flower there is, you want it to be from the full flower. So the whole plant kind of concept of that. And what you get when you have full spectrum CBD is you get CBD, but there are hundreds of other compounds in there that do various things to relieve pain, reduce anxiety, those kinds of things. But the big thing that I find is that it reduces inflammation, which is generally the cause of the swelling and pain in any part of our body. And so the ladies in the lipedema community do find that they get very significant relief in the areas of their body that hurt, like in the thighs and the legs and the hips and knees and calves, all those areas. if you rub salve on it and you take some kind of a oral tincture or capsule, then you end up with your body that has significantly reduced inflammation. The second thing that I always want to check on a label is that it's organic, and that's either USDA certified organic or state regulated. And in the United States, the state regulated is regulated so to the requirements of the USDA certification. So if you've got a good quality product coming from a state, then you're in good shape for organic. The other thing that most products don't have on them is the single source. What farm produced the hemp that produced the CBD? I want to know that because I need to know where the farm's located. If it's located in Massachusetts and it's in Brattleboro, Vermont, the two places where I get my CBD from, the farms, then when you buy a product, you know what farmer took responsibility for it. Because I meet the farmers, both the farmers I have, and they're really nice people, and they come from farm families, and they make a nice, really quality plant. The majority of the industry, because it's really big money and big volume kind of things with corporations, people end up with CBD that is either contaminated with heavy metals or contaminated with pesticides, because CBD the hemp plant is a really good plant to clean up farm area 1 year after it's been used, and then it cleans it all up so it can be used again the following year. So I want to know what the farm is and where it is that this came from. If it's on the label, it's great. If it's not on the label, it means the corporation is buying large quantities of CBD powder product from somewhere in the world, and you really have no idea what's in it. And so I want to know where it's from. And then the next thing is I want to know that what website I can go to right on the label. I should be able to look on the label and get the website where I could get independent lab test results. So those are the four things. If you've checked those four things and you're satisfied with them, then you probably have a good product. So it's not a matter of what I have available. It's a matter of whatever product has these kind of requirements passed, then you've likely got a good product. The other thing is how many milligrams of CBD in the container. That should be on there, like 1,000 milligrams of CBD. It should say of full spectrum CBD, how many milligrams. And then usually you have on the label the how many milligrams of CBD do you get when you have their recommended dosage. And generally it's 15 to 30 milligrams of CBD per dose. That's the normal range. So those are the kind of things that I find on the label that are important. A lot of the marketing gives me the feeling that this is a really great product and it's got all this stuff and it's great. But those are usually marketing wording to get you excited. And so to bypass the emotional part of it, I would use those quality checks. And then a big question people have is, how much should I pay for CBD? I got no idea. It's always $100. It's always, too expensive. And so generally in the industry, people sell products based on the milligrams of CBD. So if there's 1,000 milligrams of CBD in there, the general market range is 5 cents to 10 cents for a milligram of CBD. So I put in the chart below there, 1,000 milligrams, you should pay 5 to 10 cents per milligram, which is $50 to $100. So if you're going to spend that $50 to $100 range, that's what you should be spending if you're going to buy a 1,000 milligram product. If you're going to buy a 500 milligram product, it's half the amount and it's half the price. And 300 milligram would be $15 to $30. So if you have these ranges, it gives you a real good chance of, when you're looking at a product, if you feel like it's quality, then you want to be sure you're not paying a $100 for 500 milligrams. It's just too much. So these two things are, I think, the most important things that you can use whenever you're looking for a CBD product. And only other thing is that just in general, 70% of the CBD sold in the USA comes from foreign countries. So, oops, it went off over here. I got to stop that. Sorry. 70% of the CBD sold in the USA comes from foreign countries, and overseas they use hemp to do cover crops. That's what I was talking about before, to purposely suck out pesticides and heavy metals. And then the one other thing that's well known, Flowering Hope Foundation, and then Sean Callahan is a fellow who owns Lips Analytics. His Lips Analytics company looked at 240 top-selling CBD products for contaminants. 70% of the products were found highly contaminated with heavy metals like lead and arsenic, herbicides like glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, and a host of other contaminants, including pesticides, BPA, toxic mold. So when you're buying on just a product that doesn't tell you what farm it's from, and it's not USD organic, and it doesn't say full spectrum CBD, this is probably the kind of product you're getting. 70% of what's being sold right now in the country is, in my opinion, right now. But anyway, this was, I think, a year or two ago they said that. But anyways, 70% of the products that are being sold, in my mind, are contaminated, as these products are. So that's about it for the slides that I wanted to show. I have 3 products, basically, that I have on my website. So if you're interested in taking a look at the products that I have, please do that. And I'm happy to talk to you about it. That's why the phone number's there. You can call me or text me. I talk to most of the ladies when they're starting to use CBD. They give me a call or they text me and I call them. And we have a little talk for me to get a feel for what's going on and to help them figure out what approach they want to take. And then I follow up afterwards with them to make sure that they're how it's working for them and maybe help with something else. But
so Brian, I'm going to go ahead and put your phone number in the chat so that people can go back and look at it, and they don't have to necessarily write it down. They can just probably click on their link, I'm thinking. Also, I'm going to put your website.
Yeah.
Brian's website is naturalwellnessboston.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going to put that in there as well.
Oh, I see Julie Morris is here, and I don't know, Moon Dust Psychic Medium, and Sing It in Chicago. Hello. You guys want to write a little note in there to introduce yourself or say
I'm sorry.
What happened to you?
I clicked a button and it took me right out.
Oh my God.
I know.
We were talking. We were having a good time.
Oh, good. I'm glad you held down the fort while I was busy wandering around back here, trying to find my way back in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it sometimes I wonder how I make it through the day with technology.
I know. Yeah.
So I just want to say hi to those people who are here. Welcome. I know that we're off time. We're at a different time. There's been a Facebook user. I say hi, and then we have Sing It. Sing It's been coming to a lot of our lives lately. Hello, she's from Chicago. Moon Dust is here, and Julie Stewart from North Carolina is here. Phyllis Carson's here. Hi, everybody. Thank you for putting that in. So I hope that I didn't disturb too much when I left.
Oh no, fine. Fine. Okay. And then I guess, yeah. If people have, go ahead and put them in there.
Yeah, our Facebook user has a question. She says, what works best for the pain and inflammation, swelling, the cream or the capsules? And Brian, I'm gonna turn this over to you because I know what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you have evidence from other members of our community on how they do it. So we have the question for pain and inflammation and swelling. So would you explain how our other community members use the CBD that you sell?
Sure. A lot of the concerns people have is pain and swelling, so it's right on the money with the questions that many people in the lipedema community have. And what happens is that the cream is a little tin of cream that you just put the salve on your hands or on your knees or on your legs, rub it all over the legs. A lot of the women, regularly, like in the morning when they get going, they cover their legs with the salve because it's relatively inexpensive to use and it works extremely well. And so I get a lot of people who are using the salve and finding it working really effectively, including me. And the capsules are the capsules is just the CBD that you're actually putting on your hands instead of being in a salve that absorbs into the skin. It's the full spectrum CBD that you put in your mouth, either with a capsule or a tincture under your tongue. They both work really well. People take it either once a day or twice a day, depending on what their difficulty is. A lot of people have trouble sleeping, so they take it at night before they go to bed. And when they wake up in the morning, a lot of people kind of are in more pain than the rest of the day. And so they put the salve on and they take a capsule or tincture in the morning. So that's the way I do it. I've been taking capsules or tinctures morning when I get up and night when I go to bed. And I'm just really used to that. And when I reduce it, it doesn't work as well. And so, and a lot of women in the community have so much pain from the swelling of in their body and caused by the lipedema inflammation that a lot of people are either immobilized or feeling like they're on their way there. And so that can be a lot of anxiety too that people have, and anxiety can increase inflammation. So even the fear of that is tough. But a lot of the women that I've talked to, and I keep in touch with everybody pretty much as best I can, and they've gone from feeling like they couldn't leave the house because they didn't know if they were going to be able to get back up the steps on the way into the house. And so that's what, feels hopeless. That's the feeling that a lot of people get. And so the way to, a lot of the women who I've talked to, I get my mind goes all over the place. But anyway, a number of the women that I've talked to have found that they're no longer in fear of being immobilized, that they've actually gone from having to stay in the house all the time or just having a lot of pain when they do go out to being able to go out and drive the car, do the grocery shopping. It's not necessarily easy. You still have lipedema, but a lot of the pain is reduced enough so that people become mobile. And I think that really helps with depression too. It's like if you're trapped. Oops, sorry. I meant to shut that off.
It's okay.
Sorry, lost my train.
It's anyway. So let me let me guide you here. That's okay.
Great.
So our community members have found relief from the pain enough to be able to start being mobile again after losing their mobility. And so some of our community members use only the salve. Some of our community members use only either the tincture or the gel caps. And some of our community members use both,
right,
depending upon their needs. Some take it first thing in the morning, some take it just before they go to bed at night, some take it both morning and night. So it's really going to depend on the individual. Right?
Would you just comment on your experience?
Okay, so I will, and then we'll go back to
Okay.
Phyllis and some stuff. Phyllis, your question's very valuable. So for me, I take the gel cap. I was kind of, oh, this is never going to work. I was helping Brian run some of the fireside chats we do, bringing CBD into our community, and the whole time I was very skeptical. It's because I'm that person who goes, yeah, right. I'm going to lurk around in the background. I'm not going to try this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking, right? Because that's me. It's just my personality.
Yeah.
And so my aunt ordered tincture, gel caps, and 2 salves. She ordered 2 starter kits of tincture and gel cap, tincture and salve, and gel cap and salve. And she said, which one do you want to try? And I'm like, she goes, I want the salves. I'm like, okay, you can have the salves. So I tried the tincture. I didn't read the instructions because that's who I am. I'm not going to read instructions. Come on, that's me. I don't have any problem admitting it, right? And I was like using a whole dropper of the tincture. I couldn't get it to absorb into my tongue, but I was using like 4 doses instead of 1. It won't hurt. It didn't hurt me any. It's just that it was like dribbling down my face. So once I realized all I needed was, this much, just that much. I didn't need that much.
Right.
I started using it, and I used it because I itch, and it has and CBD has an anti-itch, and right now I got an itchy back, as you can totally reach my back. I itch. My body just itches. And so I decided I was going to start taking this and see if it would reduce the itching. And it did, which was pretty cool. Because my family used to say, mom doesn't feel pain, mom just feels itch. Because I'm always like, skin crawly kind of thing. And it really helped. But there was something else that it helped. It helped my restless legs. I was floored. That my legs calmed at night, because that's one of the things that's another for me, that's another description of pain, is my legs jumping at night. Just, because restless legs is not just a fun situation. It feels like something slamming your legs around. And so it calmed my restless legs. The other thing is I stand on my feet a lot on Thursday night when I do chorus, and I find that it helps me make it through my having to stand a lot. And then when I get home, I rub the CBD into my feet. So I use both the salve and the gel caps now. I feel better using the gel cap rather than the tincture for me, because I don't have to make sure of how much is in that dropper, right? And I take it before I go to bed, and it just drops down, and I'm happy. But it really has helped me sleep better. And when I get a better rest, when I'm not itching, and when I wind down during the day, my body tingles, and it has taken all that away, and it has helped my aching feet. And I also, there was some time I was feeling quite a bit of pain this last year, and I became that that person who would rub it into my thighs, as my thighs would just ache. So yeah, that's how I use it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, because the practical use that someone has, and I think if
so I want to talk about Phyllis's question.
Yes. Oh, yes. Do please.
Okay. Have you found that the cream or the pill goes against other meds you are on? So we're talking about contraindications.
Yep.
And Brian, can you address that, please?
Sure. There's a really good video on Mayo Clinic by a doctor on there on CBD. So if you just go onto the Mayo Clinic website and type in CBD, she's a cancer expert and she's studied CBD for cancer and a whole variety of other things. So she has a list of different meds there that you want to check with. But certain type of medications will be affected by the use of CBD. So anytime before you start using CBD or anything else for that matter that's new and different than what you've been doing, letting the doctor know is like critical, because we're not medical consultants, in this. We've just found this product that works really well. So you want to check with your doctor, but blood thinners can be affected. And what happens with that is that generally there's some things that your doctor says, no, I don't want you to use it for, but mostly it's like, well, take it for a while and we'll run a blood test and see if any of your levels that should be there have changed some or not, because it's just the kind of thing that you can get a change in the levels of the compound, whatever it is the doctor has you on. So you just have to check.
Right. And I know that when my husband went in for open heart surgery, one of the things they told me was, please make sure that he's off all of his supplements 2 weeks before the open heart surgery. So I did. And I said, even CBD? And they said, yes, even CBD. Right. So he had to go off his supplements. But right after his open heart surgery, I said, can he start taking his CBD again? And they said, yes, of course you could. So, and he does take some medications, and every time he takes a medication, he gets a new medication, I double check with the doctor and I say, is it okay for him to continue taking CBD with this new medication? So it's just making sure. I do know that, like you say, blood thinners, we've like with for my husband, he was not on warfarin, he was on Eliquis, and he could take CBD at the same time as Eliquis. But we do have people who are in our community on warfarin, and it's okay for them to take the CBD, but their anti-coag pharmacist wants to know every single time they open a new tincture bottle. So that just to know, because they're watching those numbers closely, the anti-coag numbers, their INR. So make sure that you do. And that goes with every supplement. Every supplement, whether it's vitamin B12 or vitamin C, whatever you take as a supplement, make sure that you know, because some supplements go against each, they increase the effectiveness or decrease the effectiveness of something. So, taking supplements willy-nilly isn't necessarily a good idea, But now the salve, that we use, it's the same thing. Make sure, because it does get absorbed in, but it's less likely to cause issues with a medication. And as Sandra says, consulting your doctor for supplements is important. Some herbal supplements really can make a change, and it can. And that's one of the things that we talk about. We do have a nutritionist at Lipedema Simplified, and she's really big on making sure that you just don't take your supplement. Oh, this works. Oh, I'll take that, and I'll take this. You really need to be aware that some supplements can make change, and CBD can. One thing it does is it lowers inflammation, right? And as your inflammation goes down, your medication might have a change to it. So just, use wisdom. Use wisdom. So Brian, I feel like I've been doing all the talking the last few minutes.
All right. I just what keeps getting me is the Facebook user. So it's whoever that is needs to stay confidential. I understand that, but I just feel bad that it feels hopeless.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about the idea of being trapped by this disease. And so that person, if you wanted to give me a call or text me, I'd be happy to talk to you about this stuff and maybe help you find a path out of that feeling with CBD or whatever. But
yeah, and I can tell you that I have used CBD before I started using your products, Brian, and maybe that's one of the reasons that I felt like it didn't work, because I had used something that had CBD isolate. It actually said CBD isolate in it, but I was, it was all proud of a CBD isolate. And when I listen to you and you're like, but there's all this entourage effect, there's these other compounds that do so much and enhance the effects of the CBD, and they work together. That's when I started understanding that I needed a full spectrum and a high quality CBD. Now you ship all over the United States, and most
other countries I've been able to ship into. Everybody's got rules about it, but I think it's confusing in a lot of countries. So the only place that seems to be really clearly they're going to come and grab me out of my house or something is Canada. They're not going to do that. Not going to do that.
No, Canadians are nice.
Canada is really quick.
But they are strict.
My house, they might sue me.
Well, what they'll do is they'll confiscate your product coming over the border. Yeah. Canadians are really strict with their cannabis. Even though it's in some cities like Vancouver, there's a cannabis store on every corner. Yep. You can get it. You can get it anywhere. You just can't bring it in, which is understandable, right? I mean, they do have their regulations, and so, so with Canada, if you're living in Canada and you want to know about your product, like if I live in Idaho, I don't live in Canada. But if I want, even in Idaho, if I want Brian to tell me, is this a decent product? If for some reason I can't get his, or if I want to support my local farm, my local farmer, I could take a picture of the labels and I could text those pictures to Brian. Yeah. And Brian will help me understand if this is a product that I might want to take. So that's the wonderful thing that we've discovered, is that it's not just we're selling Brian's product. We make nothing. We have no. Our disclaimer is every now and then Brian will make a donation to Lipedema Project for research, but so we have this opportunity to bring in a good product to our community. So Sandra wants to know, mention the difference in the plants, hemp. So we had a slide earlier.
Yep.
Sandra, let me pull that slide back up. Let me see.
I'll get it. Okay.
There it is. This was the slide.
Yep. Okay. So cannabis is the parent plant of both marijuana and hemp, and the cannabis plant can be bred to produce a lot of THC, which is what the psychoactive compound is in marijuana. So it can be bred to make a lot of THC in it, 25 to 40%. I don't know what the latest is on that, but that's always been the range that I've heard. And then the hemp is the cannabis plant that's bred to purposely not produce THC. It's kind of an interesting process that the way they breed plants to get things to change. But anyways, hemp has been designated by the 2018 Farm Act to be legal to grow the hemp and to produce the CBD from that hemp, and it's considered non-psychoactive. And so there's very little THC in there, but there is a little. And I think it's more of a catalyst for all the other kinds of things too. So it's okay to have a little in there. And then if you work for the federal government and they have strict rules, or any other organization, they have strict rules on the use of cannabis, marijuana, then it's possible that you could get picked up as on a test like that. I've been tested for it and at Mass General, and I haven't. They don't see any THC in my system, and I had taken my gel cap like a few hours before I saw him. So anyway, so that's the main thing. And so, Sandra, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. And she goes on to say that people working in the military or some law enforcement still might not be able to use CBD, but most of us would get so little that it wouldn't bother. Right. And my brother-in-law, what's interesting for him is he works in a school district. They have very strict regulations, right? They have testing, and it's all random. He never knows when he's going to get called in for a test. He is even concerned about using the salve, just knowing that, because I mean, it's for him, it's his job.
Yeah.
Right, it's his livelihood. It's his ability to support his family. And so he does make sure that he doesn't use anything at this time. He is trying, there are others, people working with them too, trying to get those rules changed to show that the difference between hemp and THC, CBD and THC, but it's still an issue for him. But anyway, so that's another thing that we do have to be aware of. Now, Brian, you have another slide you want to bring up?
Yep.
Okay.
If you go to the website, this is the website, naturalwellnessboston.com, and these are the products that I have. I only have 5 products, and I've got 2 different farms. There's the Western Mass, WMA, I call it. They have a lotion that's not as strong as this one, but it's also significantly less expensive. And so this product is from Bordertown Farms in Brattleboro, Vermont. It's their product that they make and sell all over. And you can order this, and it's the most concentrated. It's the salve that a lot of people use. It really has strong levels of CBD in it. And so you can smell a little bit of what it smells like, marijuana plant, some people feel like, my wife in particular. And so when you first put it on, that odor may be there within a few minutes. Once it absorbs in your skin.
I call it green. It is green. The green and purple salve. Mm-hmm. It makes me think of Bag Balm. I don't know if people remember Bag Balm. So it's very green. It's very herbally. It's very grassy, or weedy. But I prefer that over the cream from WMA. And the reason I prefer it is because of the fragrance, the not fragrance, right? These are natural. I prefer it because I prefer the herbally smell over the floral smell, right. Just for me personally. Yeah. I do have a friend who I bought a couple of WMA lotions for Christmas, she's allergic to lavender. And there's lavender in the purple and green in the Bordertown Farms one. I don't have a problem with lavender. She does. And so I got her the other one. So it's important to look at the ingredients. And that's one thing that's cool about this stuff. I know what every single ingredient is. I know what beeswax is. I know what shea butter is. I know, what lavender is. So I can look on the label and go, oh, I can read every single ingredient, and it's all natural. So that's one reason I love the salve that you sell.
Okay, great. The next thing over is another product from the WMA farm, and this is a capsule, which is very similar to a gel cap, which is the Bordertown product. The Bordertown product is a little more concentrated. This has 25 milligrams in a capsule, and Bordertown has 30 milligrams in each capsule. So, and it's the 60 in both of them have the same number of them. And the Bordertown is the farm that I use for my tinctures, and this is also a concentrated 1,800 milligrams of CBD in there. So it's somewhat expensive, but there's a lot of CBD in it. So that's the 4 products that I have, and people would use either the lotion or the salve, and eat any one of these 3 products. You just buy one of these, not generally all 3 of them. Some people like to try out different ones, but this is a capsule. This is a gel cap, same basic thing, same product essentially in it. It's the same full spectrum CBD. And so if you want to take it orally, and you take it once in the morning, and sometimes, most people once at night. I recommend people try that for the first couple of weeks anyway, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. By the end of the 2 weeks, you'll know if this product works for you or not. So it's a pretty quick way to tell whether CBD is going to work for you.
Yeah. And what's interesting for me is that little circle can of CBD salve, the little purple and green one.
Yeah. Can you see my thing moving around?
No.
No. Okay.
It's okay. Second one from the left. I have those tucked away everywhere. They're in my backpack, and I make it through. I go through security in the airports with these guys. Nobody has ever said anything to me, but I haven't flown internationally yet either. But here domestically, I can go anywhere with these guys in my backpack. There's no eyebrow raised or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I do make sure I don't do is before I go through security, I do not have it on my hands. So I make sure that I when I go through security, I haven't used the CBD that morning, the salve that morning, just simply because I don't know. When they do a hand test, I don't know if CBD is going to show up with something in it that I shouldn't have. So I don't use it. That's just my own personal precaution. But I carry the CBD through the security at the airport. I don't have any problems carrying it. So is there anything else, Brian, that we need to?
I don't know if Julie Morris is still on the line, but I know that she uses the products now, and she could comment about that if she wanted to. Other than that, I think we're in good shape.
Okay, so I have put your website, Natural Wellness Boston. I have put your phone number and your name, and I have put your email address all in the comments.
Great.
And so anytime you want to get a hold of Brian, I do know that he lives in Boston's area, so be aware of that when you give him a call. That he's going to be don't call them too late at night. Because I'm in Idaho. I'm in Mountain Time, so I don't send him messages after 9 o'clock my time, because that's 11 o'clock his time. So, but you can reach out to him anytime. Brian's awesome about returning your call, or sending you a text message, and helping you find a good CBD product. He believes it works. He knows it works. He's living proof. I know it works. A lot of our community members have some amazing things to say about CBD and especially Brian's products. So,
and if you're new in the world of lipedema, or the question about whether you got it or recently diagnosed, that website, lipedema-simplified.org website, is a great place to get information. And I don't know if we made enough of that in here, but that's a great website. And there's a link to the disease they call FAT. If you haven't seen that, oh my goodness, it is really an amazing documentary that Catherine did on lipedema and experts from around the world that she worked with, and the rest of that stuff. So great.
Okay, Brian, you just convinced me.
What?
You just convinced me to put it up. So here I'm going to put the documentary. I'm going to put this in the chat, because that's too hard to write it all down. But this will look like the documentary that Catherine made a few years back.
Yeah.
And so go ahead and watch that. And we have another item, and I really want to show this. This is called Emmy's Box of Hope. And we call it, you find it. So Emmy's Box of Hope is also something that you're going to want to check out. It is and it just looks like, hold on. It looks like this. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. Emmy's Box of Hope is a resource for you. We call it Emmy. Emmy is our mascot. She's a pretty little flying pig. And the reason why we have a little flying pig is because, as everybody knows, pigs don't fly, right? But Emmy doesn't know that. Emmy thinks everything is possible, that nothing's impossible. And so Emmy thinks, I can fly. She's wonderful. She brings us hope. Emmy her name is Esperanza Milagros, which is hope and miracles. And we've shortened it, the Esperanza Milagros, to EM, which is Emmy, right? Or Emmy. So we call her that, and she brings us hope. A group of ladies, there were 5 of them: Julie Stewart, Blanche Pepitone, Jerry Hamill, Judy Green, and Deborah Jersick. They have developed this, along with Isla and Leah, who are our tech gurus and designers, and they've developed this webpage. It is amazing. You start off, you have to register to get your free resources. So just click on it and get your free resources, and then go down the rabbit hole. There's so much information. We have the postcards for patients and postcards for clinicians. We have the 5 senses, because, as Brian said, some of us get a little bit on the depressed side. We've got a coloring book. We've got a joke book. We have, and the illustrations of the joke book were done by Deborah Jersick. So it's an amazing gift for our community. Whether you are brand new to lipedema, or whether you've been hanging around a little bit, 4 or 5, 10 years, whatever, check out Emmy's Box of Hope. It's our free gift to you and to the community, and it was developed by community members. The beauty of Lipedema Simplified. Catherine got it started, and now the community members have it going. It's just an amazing grassroots movement for lipedema. Okay, Brian, we're going to have to wrap this puppy up. We have been on here for an hour and 24 seconds. As you know, always, I like to end with my guests sharing a message that they would like to see echoed around the world. And so, Brian, what is your message for us today?
Oh, jeepers.
I end this way every time.
I know, yeah. Well, that's it. My message that I thought was really significant early on was when the women were talking about people who blamed them, including their doctors, for the swelling that they had in their body and didn't believe them. And they said it was your fault. And I'm just saying it's not your fault. It's happened to you. You didn't do it.
Right. It would be as if you were to say, my arthritic hands is my fault. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Right.
No,
Right.
It's not your fault. And with that, we also know that there's hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. We're here with you. You are part of us. And we are part of you. And we're always grateful that you're here with us.
Thanks.
So with that, Brian, ladies and gentlemen in our audience, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah,
and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.